Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the upper idler pulley on this 2008 Chevy Equinox. Same as any Equinox with a 3.4 liter and also the Torrent. And it's pretty easy once you get the parts out of the way, such as the airbox and the engine mount. Tools you'll need are flat blade screwdriver, 10mm, 15 and 18mm sockets with ratchets and extensions, a 3/8 drive ratchet or flex handle. And to get to it, you do have to remove the intake tube. Not too difficult. There's a plug here. You just take a little tab, move it to the side, pull that off, and then there's two clamps to loosen. Okay, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. What I found actually is you only need to loosen up the clamp that's on the engine side or closer to the engine, and then you pull the tube off the engine. That's actually good enough. Now there's a couple of clips. You just pull off with your thumbs. And you can lift this up. Get your airbox up and off. There's a little safety clamp here that you'll want to remove carefully. Okay, and then you can disconnect this harness, pull this right out. Okay, there's a 10mm bolt right back here. Remove that. Probably take your air cleaner out, and now your airbox will come right up and pull it back. There is a harness right here. You just pull that take your airbox out. Okay, you'll want to put a jack right underneath the engine. Okay, with your airbox out of the way, you want to remove your engine mount, and that's why you're supporting the vehicle with the jack. It's 18mm nuts on the outside and then 15mm bolts on the engine side. Remove those two nuts, then jack the engine up a little bit, remove the 15mm bolts, and then you can remove, you'll see me remove the mount. In this next part, it's a little difficult to see what I'm doing, so I kind of drew an arrow. The arrow points to your belt tensioner, and you can see down at the bottom, if you're looking at it in good enough resolution, that the tensioner has a small 3/8 square hole in it. So you take a 3/8 drive flex handle. If you jack up the engine enough, you can probably get a regular ratchet handle on there, and you put it into that square hole, and you'll see what you do with it. Okay, now here's your tensioner, and you're going to need kind of it's a flexible handle like this, and basically you just want to put the handle in, flex that into the tensioner, and then push it in. Okay, and then you can pull up on your handle. Okay, that lets tension off the belt. Take the belt off. Slowly let your handle back down. That out. In this shot, you'll notice the belt is gone. To replace any of the idler pulleys, you really don't have to remove your belt all the way. You can just kind of loosen it and then take the idler pulleys off and back on. But if you do remove it, I do have a diagram later in the video that shows you how to get it back on. Change this idler. Generally you can kind of feel them, see if there's any play in them. But they're pretty easy to change. Just a 15mm bolt. Okay. Then you pull this apart and use any of the appropriate parts on your new pulley. This one's in fine shape, so I'm just going to put it back in. Okay, we'll speed up here as I just thread that bolt in, then use my 15mm socket and ratchet, tighten it up. You want to tighten them to about 30 to 35 foot-pounds. Tight, but not over tight. Okay, next up we're going to put the belt back on. I am going to pick it up just from having the belt preliminarily routed. Here is a diagram to help you route it if you either took your belt off or if it fell off a couple pulleys and you weren't sure how to get it back on. Okay. Put your bar in. Pull up on your tensioner. Put your belt down onto this idler pulley. Make sure it's on the alternator well enough. Okay. Let your tensioner go. With your engine jacked up high enough, you can get that right out. Okay. I'll put your mount back on. Start the bolts. Okay, you can let your engine down some. Okay, make sure you get the bolts started first. Okay, speed it up here some. I'll start those bolts in. Just make sure the jack is positioned so that the engine is just barely lifting up on that mount. Preliminarily tighten those bolts, and those are 15mm bolts. Then let the engine down some and put on the 18mm nuts, and then preliminarily tighten them. Okay, and then I'm going to tighten the 18mm nuts to 85 foot-pounds, and then I'm going to tighten the 15mm bolts to 45 foot-pounds. I'll put my air box back down in. My wiring harnesses go up above. There's two kind of rubber plugs that go into holes in the front. Guide them in place, push them forward. Tighten up that bolt nice and firm, and then make sure you put the pin for the wiring harness back in place. Put the air cleaner back in. Make sure it's seated correctly. That does have a little tab here, so it goes in the right way. And I'll put the outside the air box in first. And make sure the harnesses don't get in your way. Down in place. Put that back on. Lock that one back on. And make sure that's all back. And tighten up the clamps. And be sure to reconnect
that hose, okay, and then that right there, and this little lock inserts from the back like that.
We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.